It's Tag Tuesday, so let's talk about a tag. Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time. And if you can hear a dog panting beside me, that is Max. He's our newest foster dog, and he's adjusting. So I'm gonna give him some pets, which I did the other day as well, just so that he can feel like everything's okay. Everything's okay, Max. So today is Tag Tuesday, and I was tagged by my friend Berna, whose channel is called Berna's Bookish Adventures. And if you haven't been there, go there today because I really love Berna, and she reads somewhat like me at times. She reads an Agatha Christie a lot, and I love her reviews on those. And also she reads books that I wouldn't necessarily have known about if I hadn't watched her channel, but we do have some similar tastes. I just think she's a great human on the earth. And she gives you a Turkish word of the day. So there you go. Now, today's tag is an interesting one. It was created by another good friend of mine, Melinda, at A Web of Stories. And Berna tagged me in this about the middle of October. So I'm a little late in getting this out, but I had some things going on that month. It's time. Today's the day. So this is the It's Not That Bad tag. And again, this was created by Melinda at A Web of Stories, who I also love. And she shares with me books that I would never have read before, and we have a lot of books in common, and I think we're about to do a buddy read. I need to get with her about when we're going to start that as well. Go follow Melinda at A Web of Stories when you have a chance to. Run over there. This It's Not That Bad tag is about some habits maybe that we as bookish people might have, and are they bad habits, and do we engage in some of these habits? So that's a great question. So the first one is, do you dog ear your books? And the answer to that is no, no, no. However, I did used to dog hair my books when I was young. It was a habit that I picked up, not ever a library book, because I think I had enough sort of guidance on that from my family to say no. But I definitely did dog ear some of my own books, I'm going to admit. Do you annotate your books? Not very often. I used to annotate all of my textbooks. I don't do that anymore. Or I annotated books that I had to read for literary classes. I did do that because we had to discuss them. I actually was just listening to an audiobook that I finished this morning that is a classic. And if I had that book physically, I don't know if I would have annotated it, but I found myself wishing that I had read it on Kindle, because I feel like numerous people would have annotated it. And you can see those highlights if you have a Goodreads account or an Amazon account. I definitely do like preserving quotes and moments in books, but I don't generally do it with a marking tool, if you will, if that makes sense. Do you roll covers or break spines frequently? No. And in fact, I get a little bit freaked out when I break a spine by accident. And I have done that before, but no, I do not. And I'm very careful not to. But that's probably something that was gifted to me by family readers as well. Do you listen to something when you read? Yes, but it has to be something without a lot of talk. I can read while the TV is on in the background. My partner usually watches TV in the evenings, and I don't always. I will opt for a reading experience. I can read in a plane, I can read in an airport, I can read pretty much anywhere. And I can read very easily with ambient music that has no lyric. That's probably the easiest. And so I have a couple of playlists that I will put on, and I really love them. In fact, there's a bookish one. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description box below because it's really very lovely. Now and again, though, I can't. It just depends, I guess, on what the background noise is. It depends on what mood my brain is in, I guess, and it just depends on the book. Number 5, do you read in the bathroom? Only if Only if I'm in a critical part of the book and I can't put it down, but very, very rarely do I do that. Not a habit. Do you read in the bathtub, pool, other places with water? I have read in a pool once at my friend's house, and I was just having a leisurely day, and she was working, and she said, "Go to my house and swim in my pool and have a self-care day." And she said that a lot. So one day I remember I was in her pool and I had a paperback and I dropped it into the water, and that was a very sad day. But I did sort of just let it dry out for a little while, and then I laid in the hammock and I finished reading what I was going to read of it, and then I think I replaced it. I do read in the bathtub. I'm very, very careful though, having had that experience. I do occasionally do that, but I don't usually read for a long time in the bathtub. For some reason, I don't know, it just maybe it feels like, oh my gosh, you could drop this book in here. I don't know, but I don't do it very often. Do you DNF books? I DNF books more now than I think I did before BookTube. And that took a while to evolve too, because I used to feel like you got to finish it, you got to finish it. And there are times when I finish a book that I want to DNF, but I wait to see if I feel like I've given it everything that I have. There are some books that I DNF in the first two chapters. So I'm pretty aware now of whether I'm going to like something, but I usually don't even talk about those books with you, those first two chapter books, because they're just not going to make it to my desire to even talk about it. And I think it's just like it's not for me. And I say this a lot. It's not for me, but that doesn't mean it won't be for all of you, right? So I DNF it softly in my mind to pick it back up later. But in fact, this one right here that's sitting next to me is one of those that I DNF'd softly, and I'm still trying to figure out, do I want to go back to it? I have two that I softly DNF'd in front of me. Yeah, so we'll talk about those in another video. Do you ever read ahead or skip to the end of a book? No. I really don't. Do people do that? If you do that, and I'm not judging, but I just wonder what provokes you to do that or what compels you to do that, because I just don't. Yeah, I don't want my ending to be spoiled. It's the same as spoilers for movies and things like that. Like I only want so much, and when I even like sort of little things that are maybe plot devices, I'm like, oh, don't tell me. I don't want to know. All right, the next one is, are you book polygamous? Which I had to laugh at the use of that word in this tag, Melinda. I smiled, now I'm laughing. So if you're not familiar with this term, polygamous means that you have relationships with more than one spouse and or commitment to more than one person. And I guess for me, I guess I'm polygamous, or am I polyamorous? I am bookish polyamorous. I'm not in real life. God, no, I'm not. But I love to read more than one book at a time, and I'm almost always listening to one, reading one on Kindle, and reading one physically. Almost always. There are certain times, like right now, because of an issue, that I must read more than one book at a time, which is tricky because sometimes they're physical and I don't want to do that, but sometimes I do that too, because I just have either I have a book club, or I have a deadline, or I have a library borrow, which means it's got to go back. And so, yeah, it's really, there's times where I have way too many books that are going at the same time, and then it becomes like very, very hard for me to decide which one to finish. There might be a vlog coming up on this. Number 10, do you own more books than bookshelf space? I guess that depends on what your definition of bookshelf is. Okay, so here's why I say that. I do have a little sort of shelf thing in my closet in my office that holds books in it. And the sad part about that is that those books aren't seen often, because I don't often open the closet in my office unless I need a notebook, or unless I need, something that's stored in there. that I use for work. However, they are shelves. So it is, I guess, a bookshelf, but it also holds my scanner and it also holds book notebooks and other things, related to my work. It is also, I guess, a bookshelf. I also just pulled a box of books from my shed to go through that apparently I had labeled. We found them the other day. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of my shed, it's essentially, but they were labeled for Pango sale. And that Pango situation with me did not last long. And I'm now thinking to myself, do I want to just unhaul these in a little free library, or do I want to actually put them on Pango? And I'm just not sure. I guess if I pulled those out and put them in my shelf over there, I think there would be room, but it then would probably get me closer to there's no room on my shelves. There's like, here's a little bit of room. There's a little bit of room here and there, but there's not a ton of room, I will say, in most of my bookshelves. So, and I think there's one in my office that's double shelved. I am in a huge purging experience for myself. I have purged something every single day. I purged bookmarks yesterday, and I realized I could have filmed that because that was quite something. I have a lot of bookmarks. This morning I purged an old makeup bag and threw it away and then added to a new makeup bag. And I have just been purging lately. So is it the time for me to unhaul a bunch of books? Yeah, it probably really is. I would love to get that done. All right, number 11 is a bonus question. And I feel really guilty about this one. Do you ever take a book without leaving a book at a little free library? Oh, yeah, I do. But I don't forget that I did it. And then I later, when I'm in that area, bring it back. So I did this actually just yesterday. And I'm not going to show you what the book is because I think I'm going to haul it for November. We were going to have brunch with some friends where we used to live. So there's a lot of paid parking now. So we parked in a place where we didn't have to pay for parking and walked to the place we were having brunch. But, there's a little free library right there. And I might have suggested that we park there. And I might have pulled a book without putting one in because I was in my partner's car and my books to put in the little free library in my car. So that what I do when that happens, how I'm defending myself? What I do when that happens is I remember, oh, Lori, don't forget, you took a book from that little free library in the community garden. Go put one back next time you're there. And I do. The other day I was at my new neighborhood little free library, which I have sort of a happy, sad feeling about because I really wanted to create a little free library here and build it myself. And I didn't get permission from the HOA, but apparently these folks either got permission from the HOA or they didn't ask for permission from the HOA. I'm not sure which, but anyway, there is a little free library in my neighborhood now. I can walk to it. So that's really going to help me when I unhaul. But I did the other day not take any books from that little free library, but I did put some in. So there you go. I feel good about that. But yes, now and again, if I spontaneously find a little free library and I don't have my car or I don't have books in my car, which is unlikely because I usually put them in my car for that purpose, I will sometimes leave without adding a book in. All right, and the last prompt is for you to tag somebody that you would like to do this video and you'd like to see them do this video. And so I picked 4 people. The first one is Tammy at Believe in Your Shelf. She and I have been friends for a while, bookish friends for a while, and I'm so excited that she has her own channel and I love the books that she brings forward. I also am tagging Pages in Chaos, who is new to me. I discovered her because she did a 5-star prediction with some other booktube friends that I adore. Her name is Jennifer, and go check her out. I love her accent and she just reminds me of a friend of mine, so I feel like I'm listening to my friend. Amy at Amy's Bookish Life, also delightful, has great energy, very, very happy person, and I just love her smile and I love the books that she talks about too. And the library mouse, whose name is Gina, and she's new to me, but she's a retired elementary school teacher. And so in sort of response to not being able to press books into children's hands anymore, she's now having a YouTube experience where she can press books into our hands. I would encourage all of you to follow these channels if you don't already, and I hope that they will all decide to do this tag video because I found it to be great fun. All right, readers, thanks for watching me today on Tag Tuesday, and let me know in the comments below if you'd like to weigh in on your habits around these not so bad tag questions, or if they feel really bad for you, go ahead and use this as your confessional, because I'm okay with that. Take good care, and as always, happy reading. Bye.